Welcome to my life. Let's make a dress. Hi, hi everyone. How are you all doing? Hello, welcome to my live section. And say hello. I want to draft a watermelon gown. Yeah, a watermelon dress. Okay, so I have my red fabric. You can see my red fabric, right? I have my red fabric. I have white fabric and I have green fabric. Okay, so I'll be drafting a watermelon dress using these three colors, okay, that I have here. So let's get started. So at first I'll just go ahead and mark out my lines. Yes, I'll just mark out my lines first. Then I will create my allowance, that is my zipper allowance. And I'll create an allowance of 1 inch. Yeah, I'm creating an allowance of 1 inch for my zipper here, like so. Okay, I'm creating an allowance of 1 inch for my zipper. So I'll just take it down like this, as you can see right here. So the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to, hello, thank you so much for watching. So the next thing I'll just go ahead to do right now is to get the length of my blouse, okay, of the gown. I'm making a baby's gown. Yeah, so the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to get the length of the gown. I don't really know how visible this is, but hope you guys can hear me. I'm sweating. So the next thing, after getting, I folded my fabric into two. I'm making a watermelon gown. Okay, I'm making a watermelon gown. It's for fruits day, children's school, fruits day in their school. So, and I'll be using 3 colors of fabric to make this watermelon gown. I have red fabric, I have white, and I have green. Yes, the style inspiration has these 3 colors, and this is why I am using these three colors. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and cut. So from the top of my paper right here, from the top of my fabric right here, I'll just go ahead and get my gown length. That's the first thing. I'll get my gown length, and gown length for this child is 24 inches. Okay, I'm using a gown length of 24 inches for this gown. Okay, I'll go ahead and mark my 24 inches like this. So in order for me to put the other colors underneath it, I will go ahead and minus 4 inches from my 24 inches. Okay, I'll minus 4 inches straight from my 24 inches. So that is where the colors will be. That is both the green color and the white color. They will be 4 inches below the nail line. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and create that space. So the next thing for me to do is to divide her shoulder measurement by 2. Okay, and her shoulder measurement is 8 inches. And normally the rules of sewing states that you divide your shoulder measurement by 2. I'm making this dress for a 2-year-old. So I'll just go ahead and divide her shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches by 2, and it will give me 4 inches, okay? And I'll go ahead and mark the 4 inches like so, okay? After marking the 4 inches, okay? So I'll go ahead and mark the 4 inches. And after marking the 4 inches, I'll come down by half of an inch for my shoulder slope, okay? And I'll mark her neck width of 2 inches. Yes, I'll mark the neck width of 2 inches, and I'll connect my shoulder slope to meet this neck width like this, okay? As you can see me showing you right here. I don't really know if you can see it very well, but I will connect my shoulder slope to meet the neck width. So the neck depth for the back, will be 1 inch, right? I'll be using 1 inch for the neck depth for the back, and I'll be using 3.5 inches for the neck depth for the front, okay? And I'll just go ahead and connect it like this, and also connect the front neck line like so, okay? I'll also go ahead and connect the front neckline like this, as you can see me doing right here. So also go ahead and connect the front neckline. I don't really know if this is visible, but I'll connect the front neckline after connecting the back neckline. So the next thing for me to do is to do the armhole, okay? This is the armhole curve. And since she's a baby, I'll be using 4 inch. Yes, I'll be using 4 inches because this is a sleeveless dress. So I'll just come down from my shoulder slope by 4 inches, okay? Because this is a sleeveless dress. I'll come down from my shoulder slope. I had to make it 4.5 so that this will not be too small here. And I'll go ahead and place my shoulder measurement on this line so that I'll have like a straight line. And I'll just go ahead and connect it like this, okay? I'll go ahead and connect it this way to give me the armhole shape. When I'm done, I'll have to bring the camera so that you guys can see it very well. So after doing this, I will divide her bust circumference by 4. Her bust circumference is 20, and I'll divide her bust circumference by 4, which will give me 5 inches. And I will add 1.5 inches for sewing allowance, okay? So that will become 6.5 inches for sewing allowance. So whatever I have to this point, 6.5, I'll add 2 inches to it. So that will give me 8.5 inches, okay? And I'll connect it. I'll use my ruler to connect the 8.5 inches. So I'll be connecting from the bust, from the chest line to meet the length of my dress. Like this, okay? So look at how I am placing my tape. There is no lies, and it's making, okay, so the 8.5 right here. So I'll just go ahead and connect it like this. So I have connected it this way here, because it's supposed to be like a flea dress. I want the flea effects to show very well. I want it to show very well. So that is why I'm connecting it this way. So see how I am connecting it like this. So this is what we have right here, and in order for me to eliminate the sharpie end, I'll just come up here by 1 inch. Yeah, I'll come up here by 1 inch and I'll connect it back to meet this point. I'll connect it back to meet this point right here. So let me cut it out so that you guys can see. And I don't really know. And I'll just go ahead and mark 1/2 inch for joining allowance on the lower parts. I'll just go ahead and add 1/2 inch to the lower parts for joining allowance. Okay, I'll add 1/2 inch for my joining allowance on the lower parts right here. So after adding 1/2 inch, so on this part, I will just go ahead and divide whatever I have by 2. Okay, because I'm working with 2 colors. Yeah, I'm working with 2 colors. Yeah. Hello. Hi. Hi, I'm making the baby's dress. So I'm making a watermelon dress for a child. It's their fruit day in school and I am making a watermelon dress. So this is an A line. Yes, this is an A line. Let me open it up so that you guys will see. Can you see the A line? Can you see it? Let me go back. Oh, okay. Hi. So this is the A line. I'm making a fruit dress. That is watermelon fruit. I'll be using red, white, and green. Yeah, I'm using these 3 colors to make the watermelon dress. Okay, so I'm gonna have to cut my, remember I folded it, I cut it on fold. So this is what we have. So now if you can see these lines very well, I don't know how visible these lines are. If you can see them very well, those are the lines that I'll have to cut this down part so that I'll be able to fix the white and the green colors, okay, on this down part. Okay, yes, I was supposed to do this on a pattern paper, but I just don't want to stress myself. That was why I had to do this straight on the fabric. So these colors, these lines that I have here, I'll be removing them and I'll replace them with the white and green colors. Okay, I don't know if you understand me. I'll replace them with the white and green colors. Okay, that is what I will do. I'll just go ahead and replace them with the white and green colors. Now this is the back pattern. This is the back pattern and this is the zipper allowance. I will also be cutting this front pattern like this because the front has a kind of pleating on top of it. Yeah, the front has a pleating on it. So that is why I'll be cutting this. So this is both the back and front, okay? So that means I am cutting 2 pieces of this particular dress. So I hope you guys understand what I'm doing. I hope you understand me. Okay. Hi. So I'm gonna have to remove it. Now let me cut the back pattern. I want to cut the front pattern. Sorry, this is the back pattern. I want to cut the front pattern. Okay. Now after cutting all these things, then I'll now cut the colored one so that you guys will see. So it's fruit day in school. So this is our own watermelon dress. It's my client's child. Yeah, so they're having a fruit day in school. So I'm making a watermelon dress. Watermelon. That's the dress I'm making. So, and you know watermelon has, like, if you can imagine a watermelon, you know watermelon have kind of red, green, yeah, like a lemon green, and when it's about to finish, you just see that white thing there. So I'll just arrange it very well. Before I cut my pattern. Hi. Sorry, I'm back in the camera. I am so sorry, guys. So I've cut the back. So this is the back of our dress. This is the back. I'll go ahead and keep it aside. I'll go ahead and keep it aside. Then I will cut the fronts after then, okay? So guys, I am done with both the back and front, and it's time for me to cut the colored parts. Okay, it's time for me to cut the colored parts. So I'm done with this one, and for the colored parts, it has to be on fold too. Like this, I'll place it on fold. Right here, and I'll use my pin to pin it. I'll use my pin to pin the dress like this. So now this is for the okay this is for the white fabric. So I'll go ahead and place it. Now I just want you guys to understand something. I added 1/2 inch to this upper side. Okay, I added 1/2 inch for joining allowance to this upper side. Now I'll be replacing that 1/2 inch and also 1 inch for joining allowance on both sides. That means I'll be replacing the 1/2 inch I took on this side, and I'll replace 1 inch on the upper side, and I'll replace another 1/2 inch on the upper side. I don't know if you guys understand, but you understand better with what I am explaining. Okay, you understand better with what I am explaining right here. So I'll just go here, I'll fold my fabric into 2, and I'll use my pin. I'll use my pin to hold it. I use my pin to hold it like this, so that it will not shift. So I've used my pin to hold it right here. I think I need to like shift my so that you guys can see me very well. So the next thing I'll do is to replace my the 1 inch I took, and also the 1/2 inch that I'll be adding as my joining allowance. Okay, I'll just go ahead and replace them like this, as you can see me doing right here. So I'm going to have to replace the upper side, and on this lower side I'll do the same thing. I'll replace my joining allowance here on the lower side. I'll replace the joining allowance on the lower side of it. Okay, So you can see what we have, right? You can see what we have. We'll not be using this red anymore because we are done using it. Now let me go and notch so that I will not forget. I will know where my upper side is and where my lower side is. Okay, so it's very important for you to notch. So this is it. This is it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and add it to the upper bodice. I'll keep this. No, I'll be cutting two of this, both the front and back. Okay, I'll be cutting two of this, both the front and back bodies right here. So I'll also go ahead and notch the upper side. So one is for the front and one is for the back. Okay, so when I'm done, I'll just do a quick explanation for you guys. So the second one or the third one that I will cut is the green. Okay, I'll be cutting the green parts. I'm cutting the green color, and this is how I will cut it. I'll also be folding my fabric into two, like so. Okay, I'll fold it into two like this, and I'll just go ahead and I'll proceed to cut it. So I just have to shape. So I am 3 minutes, right? I am 3 minutes so that it will be easier for me to cut. So guys, I'll still go ahead and use my pin to hold it. Yes, I'm using my pin to hold it like this so that it will move. I'm using my pin to hold it. So that it will not move. So I've used my pin to hold it, and the next thing for me to do is to add my allowance to it. Okay, so the first part I'll add my 1/2 inch sewing allowance on the upper part of it. Yes, my 1/2 inch sewing allowance on the upper part of it, like so. I'll add my 1/2 inch sewing allowance on the upper part of it, like so. Okay, so I'm connecting all the lines together. So also on the lower part, I'll still do the same thing. I'll add my 1/2 inch sewing allowance on the lower part of the dress too, as you can see me doing right here. So when I'm done, I'll just go ahead and cut it like this, following the shape of my dress. Following the shape of my dress, I'll just go ahead and cut it like this. So guys, did you see what we have here? Look at what we have, right? Look at what we have right here. So I'll also do the same thing I did. I'll notch the upper side of it. I think it's about 4 inches. I'll also notch the upper side of it. Sorry. So I'll be cutting this, another one of this. That's the back. I'll go ahead and cut it. Jesus loves me. Jesus loves me. Say I am so glad that Jesus loves me. Jesus loves me every. So I am so glad that Jesus loves me. So I also go and notch the upper side of our dress, so you guys can see what we have. I'll pin it so that you people will see what I've been doing since. So this is the front. Yeah, this is the front of our dress. This is the front part of our dress. And like I said before, it's a watermelon dress. Underneath this red, I'll go ahead and put this white. Okay? After the red, the white will follow. Let me pin it for you guys to see how it will be. So, can you see it? Can you see the white and the white and red on top. Okay, so after adding my white and red, I will now add this green at the bottom of it. So that you guys to see what we are making. So like I said, we are making a watermelon shop. I've been at gum. A watermelon gum. So guys, this is what we have. Let me show you guys. Can you see? So this is what we have right here. So you guys can see, right? So you can see all the colors that we have. This is red, this is white, and this is green. Okay, so you can see all the colors that we have. So this is a watermelon dress. Okay, so this is it. I'll just go ahead and cut a lining piece for it. Okay, I'll go ahead and cut a lining piece for this dress. So if you've watched to this point, so let me start my explanation on how to cut this. Yeah, on how to cut this dress. Okay, I've not sewn this particular dress. As you can see right here, I've not sewn it. Okay, so the first thing, yes, I folded my fabric. So I folded my fabric into two, and the next thing for me to do was to get my gown length. And the gown length for this particular dress is 24 inches. Okay, now after marking my 24 inches, now in order for you to know the width, that you fold your fabric into, you just go ahead and divide your hip circumference by 4, and you can add about 4 inches to the width of your fabric. Okay, so that was just what I did. So after that, I got my neckline. I used 2 inches by 1 inch depth for the front neckline, for the back neckline, sorry, and for the front neckline I used 2 inches by 3 inches depth for the front neckline. So after that, I came down by half of an inch from the shoulder. Yeah, that is, I took my shoulder and I came down by half of an inch for the shoulder slope. And to get the length, I use 4.5 inches for the length, because this is a sleeveless dress. So I use 4.5 inches for the length. Now, on this chest line, you divide your bust circumference by 4, and I added 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. Okay, that's on this bust point side. And on this down side, I divided my hip by 4, and I added 3 inches. Okay, I divided my hip on this lower side by 4, and I added 3 inches. That is 1.5 to give me the A-line shape, and 1.5 for sewing allowance. So guys, when I did that, on the hemline I minus 4 inches because I'll be attaching these colors to it. Okay, I minus 4 inches on the hemline because I'll be attaching these colors to it. And before cutting it, I had to add half of an inch for joining this side to this side. Okay, I had to add half of an inch for joining this side to this side. Yeah, and when I am done, what I went to do was to divide whatever I have, which is the 4 inches that I have that I'll be using to combine these two colors. I divided it by 2. That is 2 inches for this white and 2 inches for this green. Okay, so we are making a watermelon dress. That is 2 inches for all of them. So guys, that's just all. And after cutting it, I went ahead to add half of an inch on both sides. Yeah, I went ahead to add half of an inch on the upper side and on the lower, on the upper side and on the lower side. So that was just basically what I did. Yeah, and I'll proceed to cut the lining. Okay, sorry guys, let me check. My phone is already getting hot. I'll proceed to cut the lining piece. And in order for us to cut the lining piece, this is what we will do. So I'm using this for the lining piece. So now I'll proceed to cut the lining of this dress. Okay, I'll just proceed to cut it, and the same way, just following the shape of our dress, I'll cut it the same way right here. So this is what we have. This is the main fabric and this is the lining piece. Okay, I'll go ahead and keep this one aside because I am done with it. Sorry. So the next one to cut is the front pattern. I'll go ahead and cut the front pattern like so. I'll just hold it very well. So I'll remove all these things that I have here. Then I'll proceed to cut the front pattern. mercies that do not flow. So this is the front button and I am done cutting it. I'll keep it aside. And I think we're done with the lining piece. So